Sean, what do you think about the matchup? John posed this question to me earlier in the week. It's at 170 pounds against Michael Chandler, a guy who likes to walk that fine line of being reckless and dangerous. What do you think about the matchup? Is that the right fight for Conor at this stage of his career?
I don't think so. No, I think it's like sometimes we forget, right, that Conor McGregor is a guy who has taken long absences from MMA in boxing. Yeah, he's had big injuries throughout his career. Another one now just coming off of it, and to put him back in against someone like Michael Chandler, I think it's too much. I think the Tony Ferguson fight made so much sense. And maybe people say, "Oh, Tony's lost a lot of fights and he's not what he used to be." McGregor's not what he used to be either, and he's lost a few fights in a row. I think it's fair matchmaking. One of them wins, okay, they go down the line, and one of them wins, they go up the line, and maybe Dana Michael Chandler fight would make sense. But you can never question Conor McGregor's balls, I suppose, if you want to put it that way. He came back after the Floyd Mayweather fight and fought Khabib Nurmagomedov in his first fight back. This is a guy who fought in 11 months. We all know that 11-month stretch with the 4 fights. Jose Aldo, Nate Diaz twice, and Eddie Alvarez in 11 months. That stretch, and a loss in the middle of that. And I think a lot of people have this, he fought Dennis Seaver and all of that on the way up, and he was babied on the way up. He really fought Max Holloway on the way up, and right. He's had some very, very tough fights, and he is a guy who will take on all challenges. All the stories you hear about him, turning over in bed and Jose Aldo's out, and he's like, yeah, Chad Minnis, fine, turn around, went back to sleep. Those are all maybe not necessarily exactly true like that, but he will take on all comers and he'll be happy. But the other big thing is, right, and sometimes people don't like to look at it, say, from the UFC's point of view or from the promotion's point of view. But when you have Conor McGregor, you have to put him into a headlining spot. It has to be a big spot. You can't work McGregor back. You can't put McGregor into even a fight in Ireland here because it's at the wrong time for the pay-per-views, wherever. You can't put him on a fight night headliner, even against someone like a Ferguson or a lower down opponent or opening a card, because he is the greatest star in the history of the sport. McGregor, on his way back, will draw more in the pay-per-view, boys, than anyone else in the sport at the top of their game. So there's a responsibility of the UFC there. If they're charging people however much it costs over in America to buy these fights, and it'll cost us here now as well with McGregor, but there's a responsibility to give a big fight that makes sense with a ranked guy like Michael Chandler. So I can understand it from that point of view. I think they should be looking more long-term than that. Look at 3 fights instead of 1 fight, because if he loses here, what are you going to do then? You're maybe going to have to do what I just said and push him back a little bit and give him a bit of easier matchmaking if he wants to fight again. And if you don't give him that now, if he loses that, maybe he won't ever fight again, and then you've lost McGregor. So I think it's a risky one. I'm not sure. If you were to ask me who wins between Conor McGregor at his very best and Michael Chandler at his very best, Conor McGregor wins that fight every day of the week, in my opinion. Same goes for Tony Ferguson and all of that. But Conor McGregor just can't be at his best at the moment. Can the 6 months get him back to his best? Probably not. Can it get him back to somewhere near his best? Hopefully. But that's a big risk to take with the biggest star in the history of the sport. But it'll be interesting to see if he pulls it off. And if he does, well, he's all in then. He's back and he's right up there near the top.